Welcome to another Leading Digital podcast. Today I'm delighted to welcome Jean-Claude Jobard. He is the Vice President of EMEA for Marmon. Jean-Claude himself has a very international background, having worked for Tetra Pak and Seidel. He's worked in a number of different countries, including Europe, Asia, Middle East, and Africa. Today, he's going to give us his perspectives on working, one, internationally, but also his views of the future of field service. He is very much an innovative thinker, and I'm delighted that we're going to hear his thoughts on his views on the future of field service. Hi, Jean-Claude. I was wondering if you could possibly give us a quick overview of your journey into field service.
Yeah, good morning. So my first job actually was in engineering in a packaging company. And then after a few years, I felt the need to get closer to customer, managing a team, and seeking solution for issue we can find. So, and I got this ad from Tetra Pak. And I become a field service manager for East of France. That was our first move with my wife. And I discover a completely new world where you get close to customer. I mean, you leave the issue together with customer. You live also with your field service engineers that are a very different breed in a way, with a positive and negative. And you see how hard can be their life and how exciting it can be. So this is why I started my service journey. And then I moved to various positions in various countries, and always very, very close to field service. That is really, I learned to love field service engineers actually, and the way they work, what they do, even so sometimes they are a real pain. But I cannot help but loving them. And so I'll always move to service environment, developing business organization in various countries. And now I'm in a position where I'm a bit further away from field service, because in my business, we are managing our activities through distributors, but I'm still trying to get as close as possible to this environment.
So your career has been very international. What impact has that had?
Yeah, that's, I talk to my kids when we're moving from one place to another that the key learning is don't try to judge, but try to understand. When you move to a country, you will see differences. Sometimes you will be shocked. And sometimes you say, interesting, but really the key point is keep your mind open. Look at what's going on. Why are people reacting the way they are? Why are they doing things the way they do? And try to understand what the rationale. Just give you an example. If you look Czech Republic, there was a history from Eastern Europe where the way you were running business is different than what we do in Western Europe. South Africa has very strong history. China has very strong history. So you cannot expect people to behave the same way that they do in your own country. So it's really being open-minded. Don't judge, understand. If you want to stick to your ideas, my advice is stay home, don't move. So this is really where you learn. Be open.
That's really interesting. And I guess there's a lot of legislation in different countries, which is different in terms of the legal requirements and various other things that you have to understand as well.
Yeah, absolutely. But then you get support usually. Well, I've been lucky to move with a large company. So you get good support to get advice on the local legislation. And again, don't try to challenge. You will not change the local legislation. Just deal with it, because you have no choice. I mean, I'm working now in an American company. When you told them that we have 5 weeks vacation a year, that's something they can hardly understand. But this is the way it is. So just, again, deal with it, try to understand, and don't judge, because it's different.
So moving forward, is there one part of sort of emerging technology that you think is particularly exciting that might make a big change to field service?
Well, I think technology is moving very, very quickly. And I think there is one that is close to my heart, and we probably underutilize it. Maybe not in all industry, but in my environment, is remote support. Today, remote support, and I would add translation, voice over voice translation. In a continent like Europe, with so many languages spoken, and people in the field not always fluent in English or any others. This automatic or voice over voice instant translation is bringing enormous value. And I see a big change in the way we will use remote support in the future using voice over voice translation. This is for me that will come. We probably missed an opportunity. You remember during COVID, when COVID came, what was not possible on Friday became not only possible, but required on Monday. Remote support, work from home, online training, everything became basically mandatory. And then when it calmed down, some of the staff stayed, like work from home, online training, large corporation, most of the training, any kind of training, even leadership, is done online. There is much less face-to-face. The technical training is also developing well in the industry. What has changed, went back to what it was before, is remote support. Customers still wanted to see field service engineers in their factories. And actually, I believe companies, the equipment manufacturer, were kind of accomplice because they had engineers to keep busy. They have to charge traveling hours, and technician traveling is part of their revenues in a way. So we probably missed an opportunity. With the technology we have that was developed extremely quickly, support for me is a winner for the future. That this is where we will need to invest together with voice over voice instant translation. That's for me the technology that is a winner.
That's really interesting. I'd never thought about it as if you tried to introduce remote support without COVID, it would have taken a long time. But
I
with
think it would
COVID,
not have happened.
it just happened.
Yeah, but then we went back to what it was before. And there is, by the way, another dimension. This is a business dimension. Many companies still haven't figured out how to invoice remote support. If you think about it, when you have a troubleshooting, you send a technician, maybe a few hours traveling in, a few hours back, and then work on site with many hours. Sometimes with remote support, you can solve it within 1 hour, let's say 2 hours. No travel time, nothing. And we say, how can we invoice customer? Because it's so simple. But again, look at the value. I mean, in 2 hours, maybe you have fixed a customer issue. Machine is up and running and producing stuff, bringing value. How can you not charge what you have been doing? And I think this is a mindset we need to change.
Yeah, and I think if you probably were to look at that with AI in terms of being able to get better information to people to solve problems, etc., that then becomes really powerful. But thinking about AI, everyone talks about AI in field service. Do you have any thoughts on that?
Well, yeah. I actually, as a leader in field service and technical service, we get mails or offers from technology supplier every day. Not every day, but very, very often. So, of course, there is a huge potential for AI. But the question is, what is the problem you want to solve? If it's AI for AI, you will spend money for probably very little. This is not what we need. The question is, what kind of knowledge you want to solve? What do you want to improve? And there is no question that AI will make us better or can make us better if you use it properly. And of course, today, our field service engineers, they have an amount of knowledge that is absolutely amazing. So AI should help us put a form, put a structure in this knowledge that it will be available anytime, anywhere to anyone. Maybe with paying a little bit. You have to charge for it. But this is where AI will bring a lot. It's helping. It's making us more efficient, and it's helping us bringing the right solution to a customer when the time is coming. So that's for me and it's linked also to remote support. When we have this enormous amount of data, of knowledge that will become manageable and available to everyone through AI. So again, I don't take technology. I'm not, well, I use tech. I'm not a fan about technology. I'm not interested in what's behind the scene. I'm interested in what it can bring to me. And there is no doubt it will bring a lot.
So in the past, has there been anything technology-wise or whatever that you've done that hasn't been as successful as you thought it was going to be?
And actually, remote support is the case. Again, we missed an opportunity. It was there. We're trying to push before COVID, kind of, with more or less ambition and more or less passion. Then it came mandatory, and then I would not say disappear, but it slowed down quite significantly, which is a bit of a pity. So we missed an opportunity. And again, customers and equipment manufacturer in a way were accomplice. We still need to see FSCs, and companies tell, well, if we send an FSC, we are generating revenues and we make our FSCs happy. So it was a huge change. So I can understand that people were kind of struggling to take this decision, but this is where we missed it probably.
So moving on to customer service, which I know is something that you've been a big sort of advocate of. Do you see many changes in the way people are expecting field service to work?
Well, I think it has changed a lot over the last years, is the level of demand or expectation from customers. I mean, when I started, uh, that was a long, long time ago. I mean, more than 35 years ago. It was okay at that time, or in my industry, in the packaging industry, to test, to send a young guy learning, testing. And it was okay with many customers. This is not possible anymore. When customer is asking for support, is asking for a task, you have to do it right now. What was also very interesting with the technology changing is, you know, uh, the new field service engineers, when they are on site, they arrive, they want to work on a machine that has a breakdown. The first thing they do, they connect the computer. And that was making some customer crazy. Say, well, don't play with your computer, fix my machine. They wanted people to work on the equipment mechanically. So we have to teach, we have to learn, but the demand is increasing. Any machine stop costs money. Margin is slim for many industries, so they cannot afford it. They want the solution right now. It's maybe contrary to what I said before, but in some cases they say, you come, you fix, and you leave. Because if you stay longer, I will be charged more, and I don't want to pay more. So this is always a very fine line between doing your job, just fixing the machine, but also maintaining relationship, getting a bit of voice of customer when you're on site. So this is for me what has changed. The expectation is much, much higher than what it was before. Fix it now, and first time fix.
So do you see a difference in customer expectations in different geographies?
Yes. I would say probably you can see four different areas. If you look at US, you can charge service quite heavily. You can charge a lot, but the expectation is extremely high. If you are good at service, you can charge very high amount of money. And actually FSC's salary is extremely high because they need to find resources. So again, US, you can charge if you deliver outstanding service. Asia, on the opposite. Well, I've paid for the equipment. Why should I pay for service? And that's typically China. So China is expected, service is expected to become free of charge, kind of. So this is an everyday fight. Europe is kind of in between. They are challenging every euro that you want to charge them. So innovation in terms of contract for me is a bit more difficult in Europe than it is in US. So it's really looking at how much it costs. And then you have the Middle East, which is probably, you can charge, but I'm not sure we have managed to sell the benefit of service in the same way than other countries. So really four different areas. Middle East is kind of in between. China, US, as I said, you can charge, but you need to be bloody good. Europe, you need to fight for any penny. China is, why should I pay for service? So yes, that's very different approach.
It's interesting in terms of the different cultures and stuff. I mean, I heard someone once say that if you want to sell something in Switzerland, you need to put the maximum price in because they believe that it's expensive. It's really good quality. If you want to sell something in Italy, it's got to be really cheap, because they'll only pay the cheapest amount. And that's, again, kind of culturally. So all these different things in terms of changes of customer expectations, etc., that probably has quite an impact on employees and field service and recruitment, etc. Have you seen that change a lot?
If you look at recruitment, this is kind of buzz now for a couple of years now. Everybody is saying it's impossible to find technicians, impossible to find field service engineers. Probably it's true that it's more difficult, but I know some companies, they say, no, it's fine. I can find field service engineers for what they are doing, offering the right package. I would say, yes, it has changed, but also because people have changed. 40 years back, anybody with willingness to travel, willingness to learn technical stuff, could take a job as a field service engineer. And then step by step, with technology increasing in equipment, we were more and more demanding in terms of skills. We wanted the best people in technology, electronics, etc., mechatronics. We wanted only the best. And now the new best, probably they're not interested in what we're doing because we're not offering something that is appealing to them. Either we find a way to be appealing, change the way we are looking for field service engineers, different package, different condition, whatever it is, to fit the new generation, or we'll have to find another way to deliver field service. And for me, the key message is let's stop complaining about the new generation that doesn't want to work, that is not interested in traveling. First of all, remind me, who trained this new generation? It's us. The way we have been raising our kids, managing the society, it's our responsibility. So we created this generation. So we better deal with it in the best possible way for us and for them, rather than complain about them. If you complain, you will not solve anything. So we have to find different ways to recruit, to attract people, but also the field service work will change, most probably significantly in the coming years. We'll look for different profile, and we'll use technology to support in a different way.
So again, talking about technology and data, everyone tells me there's so much data around that we can deal with it. Does that change the way you manage field service engineers?
Not yet, unfortunately, but I think that will change. First of all, in the data, we need to sort out the data we have, because in the data we have, there is a lot of opinion. When you face an issue, you ask different people, they will give you their opinion. I think this is coming from, this is where it's coming from. Look at that. And very often the truth is somewhere else. So we need to clean the opinion and make sure of the data, proven data, and validated troubleshooting guidelines that will help people on the field to solve issues. So when we have this data that is available, you can easily imagine that you can have top expert in the field with a data that will be structured, validated, proven. And then you have maybe people with lower skills on the field that will be guided remotely. So this is where I really believe remote support is a winner. We may have people close to customers, lower skills, available anytime. That will be supported by expertise and data provided by artificial intelligence. That's maybe an option for the future of field service.
That's interesting, actually. So we still have the requirement for the field service, but they don't field service engineer, but he or she doesn't need to be as skilled because they can be supported elsewhere.
Exactly. That's one option. The other option is that equipment will be so good that there will be no more breakdown, no need for maintenance, etc., etc. That may be a long way from now. But then field service will move. There will not be technician, but there will be more consultant to make sure that the way customers are using the equipment are for the best of the performance. That's another option. Which way will go probably depend from the industry.
It's very interesting. So in terms of you, Jean-Claude, what are your challenges in your business that you see in the next 24 months?
Well, purely for my business, the first priority is to develop, I would say, not only parts, but component sales. We know we are missing a lot of revenues coming from installation of new equipment. When you install a new piece of equipment, you sell the equipment, but actually in my industry, you need a lot of stuff around, parts, components, pumps, etc. And we want to be sure we capture all this business. So that's one pure business perspective, revenue generating. That will allow me to invest in technical support tool and customer service tool. So that's one challenge. The second challenge is how do I manage my distributors or the service company working for me, making sure that we have the right level of skills and competence available to support all the restaurant. And we have hundreds of service companies, so it's kind of challenging to really monitor the competence of the technician. And linked to that, this is I would say one of its burning issues. How do I train and maintain the competence of these people? And this is where remote training, learning platform are key. How do I put this together, making it available, making it a business as well, that when there is a need on the field for a technician that miss something, that he has access to this knowledge through quick video or tutorial, helping him solving the issues. Having this tool, this learning platform that is available anytime to anywhere. Three topics basically, and then I will mention the last ones. From business perspective, increase my revenues. Second, managing skills and making knowledge available. The last one for me that is coming as well is from technical support perspective. How can I be more efficient and building this database of knowledge that later on will be available to everyone. Even so, you go through subscription model, generating other kind of business. And the challenge behind that is that all the solutions that are offered today by IT companies, they have a cost. And it's very difficult to justify the investment because the business case is not that nice. It's a lot of very few hard benefits. Can you evaluate the saving you will generate or the extra revenue? This is extremely complicated. It's better service, no doubt, but it's not enough today to justify a few €100,000 investment.
That's interesting because the investment is a lot today for the future, isn't it? Because you've got a whole cultural change. To actually get your money back from that investment, there's a cultural change, there's a different type of engineer. That's all going to take time, isn't it?
Yeah, and the question is that how do you put a value behind that? Again, you may generate increase customer loyalty, and so what? How much money is up in my bank account for customer loyalty? Better brand reputation. I mean, can you give a value, more sales, more margin? This is where we need also to be courageous. Yes, this is the right thing to do. We have to do it. Even so, we know that there will be not a benefit immediately. So this is, very much company strategy that we need to push and get this investment because the world is moving so fast I believe in a technical support and field service that we cannot be left behind. And we really need to invest.
Finally, Jean-Claude, if you had a magic wand to solve a challenge, what would it be?
I think that would be, I remember always an issue that we had a few years back on a piece of equipment that we were deploying a new piece of equipment in the country. And we have been facing an issue. And at one stage, I say, this one we need to fix. And I say to myself, but I know that it will happen again because we are not rigorous enough. We are not precise enough to solve it once for all. I say that to myself. And of course, it happened again. So everybody knew of the issue. Everybody knew it was not a definitive final solving, but no one went to the last step to make sure it never happened again. So my magic wand will be when you face an issue, don't fix it, you solve it. You solve it for all, not for this piece of equipment, but you make sure it's not happening again. And probably this is where we need to get rid of opinions, be very disciplined and use the data we have to prevent issues to come. So that's probably, I would say this is nightmare. And I'm responsible for it because I didn't put enough in place to make sure it's not reoccurring. So this is issue identify with my magic wand. I will make sure it's not reoccurring at another place the following week or the following month.
That was very useful, Jean-Claude, very insightful. So thank you very much for your time.
You're very welcome. What a pleasure.